In this video, I'm going to share with you the one nutrient deficiency that may be impacting your emotional health. We're told that thinking good thoughts and feeling good feelings like gratitude and appreciation can benefit our well-being and our health. But if you're finding it difficult to be consistently in a good mood, no matter how hard you try, then this video is for you because there might be a nutrient deficiency at play. I'm Karina, and welcome to my channel where we discuss practical tools to elevate our wellness from a mind, body, soul perspective. We often talk about how our state of mind impacts our physical health, but it also works the other way around. If we are not getting the full spectrum of nutrients that our body, including our brain, needs to thrive, then our physical and our emotional health is going to suffer. And one of the most important nutrients that you definitely want to be getting enough of is vitamin D. Vitamin D powerfully impacts our mood. A deficiency of vitamin D has been linked to anxiety and depression, including so many other health conditions. And studies have shown that vitamin D supplementation helps to ease depressive symptoms in adults. How does it do this? Well, first off, it regulates serotonin, which is a hormone that impacts our mood. It also regulates melatonin, which is our sleep hormone. We all know how when we don't get a good night of sleep, we can feel grumpy, we can feel out of sorts, and even depressed. And it is also anti-inflammatory, including helping to combat neuroinflammation, inflammation of the brain, which is the cause of so many mental emotional conditions. So then the question becomes, what is the ideal way to ensure that we are getting enough vitamin D? The best way to get vitamin D is through the sun. And I found in my own personal experience that when my body is synthesizing vitamin D from the sun, it's so much more potent than when I'm taking a supplement. When I'm out there for 20 minutes in the sun when the UV index is 3 or higher, and that's really important because if the UV index is any lower than 3, your body's not going to make vitamin D. So I'm out there 20 minutes, UV index 3 or higher, and afterwards I just feel so chill. I feel those que sera vibes, whatever will be, where I don't need to control or micromanage anything. And that for me is so important as someone who has previously identified as a type A personality. It's really important for me to give my body the inputs that it needs for me to be in the state where I can go with the flow. But some of us live in places where the UV index doesn't even get to 3 at any point in the day during some months, especially the winter months. And so I live in Washington, D.C., and over here, I actually do have to take a vitamin D supplement from December to February because the UV index only goes up to about 2 at its highest point during those months. So the best way to check what the highest UV index is for each day in the place that you live is to check the weather app on your phone. It'll tell you for each day what that is, and then it'll also give you a weekly forecast so you can plan things out. And then if you are taking a supplement, then I really recommend taking it with a good amount of healthy fat because usually supplements will come with a little bit of MCT oil or something to help you absorb it, but that's usually not enough fat for you to actually fully absorb this fat-soluble vitamin. So the best thing to do would be to take your vitamin D supplement with, say, the egg yolks or the yogurt that you're eating with your breakfast, for example. And I actually have another video that talks about the most important things that you should include in your diet to get the most amount of nutrients. And it goes into some examples of healthy fats that you can incorporate. So I'll include a link to that video at the end of this one. And you can get some vitamin D from your food. Organ meats and egg yolks have a good amount of vitamin D, but it's still not a whole lot. So you still want to be getting your vitamin D from the ways that we mentioned before. Then the next question becomes, what is the ideal level of vitamin D that you should be aiming for? I definitely recommend testing your serum levels of vitamin D to ensure that your body is synthesizing it properly. I tested my vitamin D levels when I was supplementing, and then again when I went off of the supplement and I was getting my vitamin D from the sun, just to ensure that the levels were similar and that my body was able to make that vitamin D even as I was easing off of the supplements and just getting it from the sun. So in terms of the optimal range, in terms of nanograms per milliliter, I've heard a lot of different opinions from experts in the functional medicine field. Some people will say as low as 20 to 30 nanograms per milliliter. Some say 50 to 70, others say even higher. So there's a lot of different opinions on this. And ultimately, if when you're getting the vitamin D from the sun, you're spending those 20 minutes with various parts of your body exposed, sans sunscreen. And by the way, you don't need to necessarily expose sensitive parts of your body like your face to the sun. I often cover my face when I'm getting in my sun sessions. But if you're doing this 20 minutes, UV index 3 or higher, you should be in a good place. But when you're supplementing, it is helpful to have a more specific benchmark. And so this sometimes takes a little bit of trial and error and just getting more in tune with your body, because ultimately we are doing this. We are trying to get sufficient vitamin D so that we can feel good, so that we can stay in a good mood. And so you want to notice as you're starting, maybe start low and slow with the supplementing 1,000, 2,000, maybe 3,000 IU, and notice how your body responds. And then also notice when you're doing your 20-minute sun sessions, are you feeling like you're easily able to go with the flow, like you're able to chill out and relax? Then you're probably in a good place, and you may want to just confirm that when you test your blood levels. I have found in my experience and that of my clients that 50 to 70 nanograms per milliliter is a good range. My levels are usually in the 50s, and that's when I've started to consciously ensure that I'm adequately getting enough vitamin D. Before that, when I was staying inside a lot, when I wasn't supplementing, my levels were much lower. So when I supplement, I do so with 5,000 IU, and that works well for me. And it's worth noting that your skin tone will affect the way that you synthesize vitamin D. So darker skinned people will need more inputs to get adequate levels of vitamin D in their body. And so I'm on the darker skin side, and 5,000 IU works well for me. You may need more or less depending on whether you're darker or lighter skinned than I am. And so that's why trial and error is so important. Start off with a low dose, notice how you feel emotionally, test your levels to confirm, and then tweak from there. Getting enough vitamin D is not only going to positively impact your mood, but it's also going to benefit the entire health of your body, including your immune and your hormonal health. It's also going to help with your bones, because your body needs vitamin D in order to absorb the calcium that is needed for bone growth and maintenance. So if you needed a sign to ensure that you were getting enough vitamin D, then this is it. Make a plan for how you're going to get it, ideally through the sun, but maybe also from supplementation, depending on where you live. And then test and assess how you're feeling emotionally to determine the ideal level for you. And what you'll start to find is that it's a lot easier to maintain a good feeling mood when you do this. If you found this video valuable, feel free to like it. That also helps the video get out to more people. And if you want to learn about more ways to feel amazing in your mind and your body, then feel free to subscribe to this channel. Lots of love, and see you soon.